Good morning, students. Welcome to our next online session of English 1, Standard 7th. Students, do you remember the story of the hare and the tortoise or the lion and the mouse? Do you know all these are fables, means a short story with animal characters in it and a moral. Now you remember, right? We have seen such fables in the standard 5th, Aesop's fables. Now you can find many such fables in the book called Panchatantra. Now let us see what is Panchatantra. Panchatantra is a legendary collection of originally Indian animal fables and verses and prose, and it was written by the Hindu scholar Pandit Vishnu Sharma. It goes to the oldest collection of the Indian fables surviving. It is going back to the period of the Rig Veda and the Upanishads. Some etymologists suggest that the term Panchatantra is a combination of two Sanskrit words, Pancha and Tantra. Pancha means five and Tantra systems or parts. Panchatantra refers to a collection of specially composed tales divided into five tantras of how to deal with people in life. Now, this is a fable that is rewritten or retold by the writer Mr. Shankar in his book Folk Tales Retold. Okay, children? Now, in this video, we are going to read and understand the first 2.5 pages of the lesson 1.4 The King's Choice. Let us now see the characters in the story. The fox, the leopard, the vulture, the camel, and the hero of our story, the Lion King. Now let us read the lesson. Lesson number 1.4 The King's Choice. There was once a lion who was king of the forest. He was big and strong and very fierce. All the other animals in the forest called him king. They brought him gifts from every corner of the forest. But the more the lion had, the more he wanted. A king must have a court, he said to himself one day. He called a fox to his side. You are known to be a wise and clever creature, fox, said the lion. I want you to be my adviser. Thank you, your majesty, said the fox, bowing low. The lion next called a leopard to his side. You are known to be watchful and swift of foot, leopard. I want you to be my bodyguard. Thank you, your majesty, said the leopard, bowing low. The lion then called a vulture to his side. You are a bird, vulture, and can fly high. You are to be my messenger. Thank you, your majesty, said the vulture, bowing low. The fox, the vulture, and the leopard took an oath of loyalty to the king. The king promised to give them food and protection. For some time, all went well. In the court of the Lion King, the three courtiers never opposed the king. His wishes were law. Whenever he rode, they stood in awe. Whenever he took a walk, they followed him. When the Lion King went hunting, they found the animals for him to kill. And after he had his meal, he left the remains for them. So they always had enough to eat. One day the vulture came back from a flight. He asked, Your Majesty, have you ever eaten a camel? He asked. It is very tasty. I ate it once in the desert. The lion had never seen a camel, but he liked the idea of trying camel's meat. But where can we get a camel? He asked. "There is a desert some miles away," said the vulture. "I was flying over it when I saw a lone camel not far away. It looked big and fat." The lion looked at his other advisers. They were wise and experienced. He wanted their opinion. Now, the fox and the leopard did not know the desert, but they did not want the vulture to seem wiser than them. So they said, since it was the vulture's idea, he should lead the way. Early next morning, the lion and his court started off on the camel hunt. They reached the edge of the desert easily, but after they left the shelter of the forest, the day became very hot. The sun shone down with fire-hot rays. High up in the cooler air, the vulture flew. "Hurry along," he called. "The camel is not far off." But the lion could not hurry any more. The hot sand had burned his paws. He could go no farther. "Stop!" he shouted to the others. "Let us go back to the forest. I do not care to try camel meat." The Lion King's advisers were frightened. The forest was far behind them, and they did not know how to get the lion back home. The leopard wanted to run away. The vulture wanted to watch and wait and eat the lion later on. But the clever fox thought of a plan. Off into the desert he ran, saying, "I will bring some help." After running for some time, the fox found the camel. The camel was indeed surprised to see him. "Hurry up, friend camel," said the fox. "Our king wants you at once." "Your king?" said the camel. "Who is that? I do not know any king. I only know my master, for whom I carry goods across the desert." "Our king, the lion, has killed your master," said the fox. "Now you are free, and the lion has invited you to live at his court. Come along." The camel followed the fox. So students, from these pages of the lesson, we can understand that there was a lion king of the forest who was big, strong and fierce. All the animals in the forest presented him gifts, but that made him greedy. The more he had, the more he wanted. And then one day he decided, after thinking, that being a king, he also should have a court. Now, children, when there is a court, there will be ministers also. So, the fox, being wise and clever, that is cunning, was appointed as the adviser. The leopard, being swift of foot, strong and watchful, was appointed as the bodyguard. And as the vulture, a large bird which lives in hot countries and eats the flesh of the dead. That was the meaning of vulture. Being a bird, could fly high and keep an overall watch, was made the messenger. All these ministers of the Lion King promised to be loyal to the king, and he in return promised them food and protection. All of them followed the king and never opposed him. His wishes were law. They found the animals to be killed and king hunted it. After the king was satisfied, having his feast of the kill, the ministers would get the remaining part. So they were happy. One day the vulture inquired whether the lion had tasted the camel meat and told him that he had already tasted it when he was in the desert. The lion then thought of having the camel meat and asked his advisers. They too wanted the feast, but did not want to lead and make the vulture look wiser than them. So they let the vulture lead as it was his idea. Early next morning, all set off for the camel hunt. Soon they left the jungle and entered the desert. As a camel is called the ship of the desert, he is found there only, children. The day then became too hot down below on the land, while it was cool up there in the air, where the vulture was flying and guiding the others. But the ground being too hot, the lion burnt his paws and could not go farther and declared so. The advisers were frightened because they had come very far and did not know how to go back. Soon, among the ministers, the leopard wanted to run back to the forest alone, while the vulture, the vulture preferred to wait for the lion to die and enjoy his flesh like he always does. But the wise fox ran for help, soon found the camel alone and convincing him to meet the king. How and why? That he killed his master and now the camel was free. This was the way he convinced him and then brought him to the Lion King. So, did you understand the lesson, children? Till now, I know you did. Now, let's see some meanings from this part of the lesson. First one, fierce, strong and dangerous. Advisor, one who gives advice. Stood in awe, to admire someone, sometimes with a slight fear. Edge, border. Lone, only one. Fire hot rays, very hot sun rays. Now children, when you finish seeing this lesson, you are going to write the meanings, learn and write the meanings 5 times each in your books. Thank you. This is your English teacher, Mrs. Dipti Kamalwar, signing off. Like always, if you have liked the video, like it, share it. And still if you have not subscribed your channel, please do subscribe it. And if already subscribed, please do not click on the subscribe button again. Thank you and see you soon.